Welcome back to the club. We're here at Canva. We're talking with Cameron all about how they've built this new Australian tech unicorn. See you guys. Welcome back to the club. We're here with Cameron, one of the founders of Canva. Welcome to the Disruptors Club.
Thank you, Fred. It's an honour.
Tell us a bit about Canva. What's it all about?
Canva is all about design. A lot of traditional design tools are designed for 1% of the population, and we make stuff that 99% of the population can make.
And how did sort of Canva come about? How did the idea come about?
It was an idea that was kicking around in one of my co-founders' heads, Mel. And she realised that there was a space for a really simple design tool that anyone could pick up and use and get good results out of.
Now, this is your third company you've started. In terms of with Canva this time, what were some of the most valuable things the pillars that you laid down that has made it such a success, you think?
I think it was an understanding of startups and technology and business and how those all come together. In my previous startup, just before Canva, I did it with a couple of Googlers that I worked with. We left Google, and at Google it was a very engineering-driven culture. Product experience and design wasn't so much part of the mix. So we decided to react against that and make our email startup all about product and experience and focus on that. And we kind of swung the pendulum too far.
Okay.
I kind of view a great company as being a three-legged stool. One is business, the other is product and design, and the other is engineering and technology. And we totally forgot about business. And when I met Mel and Cliff, it just all clicked together. We had all the three legs of the stool, and we each owned those areas and were passionate about them. So when we came together, we made the company and the product and the engineering and the technology and the design, and it all just fit together really nicely.
How big is the company today?
So it's roughly hitting 650 people. We've got three main offices. The main one's here in Sydney. We've got another big one in Manila and also in Beijing.
Tell us about some of the struggles with, or I guess the challenges of when you get that scaling. What have you found to be challenging?
Pretty much everything breaks at some stage, and every time you double people, you just have to radically change everything. 10 people all work well together, 20 people starting to break, 50 people, you then have to split them into teams, they have to just start doing goal setting, and it just keeps going as you're scaling. Like, you hit more and more problems, and the things that worked a year ago don't work anymore. So you have to constantly come up with new processes, but also realize that they're breaking. Often the trend will be to just keep doing what's normal, like what everyone is used to. And sometimes you don't know that it's actually a broken process or that it's holding you back.
How do you sort of deal with scaling culture? It's obviously a major aspect to Canva as well.
Yeah.
In different geographies, how do you sort of handle that?
It's tricky. We focus a lot on culture. So we not only talk about it a lot when people are on board, but we encourage culture to flourish through all the things that we do. In this new building, we focused a lot on the art on the walls, and we've actually partnered with an Indigenous art community up in very far northwest Australia. We like to connect it with the people inside the company, so we've also had some of those artists come through the building and talk about the art that they make and their inspiration behind it and the stories behind it. So we're constantly doing things like that feed the culture of Canva and make it unique. And we realise that culture is an extremely important part of a company, and people are attracted to Canva because we are a force for good, because we enjoy celebrating, because we set really crazy big goals. So it's really important that we keep that, and that everyone in here knows that we want to keep it and that they're champions of the culture themselves.
In terms of, if you were to zoom out, looking at Canva, what do you think some of the keys to its success have been?
Definitely the team, finding the right people. And then I think also for us, thinking globally was extremely important. The aim was always to empower the world to design. And in 2016, we really focused on expanding the product and increasing its diversity. So we moved from just being in English to being in 8 different languages that year, and then 100 different languages the year after that. Emerging markets like Brazil and Indonesia have become massively important to us, and they use the product in different ways there. So we have to do different types of design. We have to think about different types of content and different ways of marketing.
Cameron, if you're going to go back in time, let's go 15 years ago. You were talking to the younger Cameron. What advice would you give yourself?
I think the younger Cameron, I would tell him to get out of his pajamas and get out of the house. I was very isolated at that stage. No, but literally actually making connections and networking, I think has been a really important part of my life, because talking to someone, telling them about their ideas, you hearing their ideas, is really important to not only get you to think outside yourself, but also to open up the next opportunities.
Thanks so much, Cameron, for sharing your wisdom with everyone here in the Disruptors Club.
Yeah, thank you. Absolute pleasure.